Well, hey church, welcome to this live Q&A with our children's pastor candidate, Amber Shoemaker, and her husband, Matt. Today we're going to just get to know her. I have a number of questions that you all submitted to have them answer. And so we're going to dig in and get to know them and their story and their passion for children's ministry and just dig into some questions. So welcome. We're really glad that you guys joined us today. So, you guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Does this feel like a talk show? We talked about that a little bit. Yeah. So we don't have a laugh track for those of you at home, but you can laugh at me anytime. Okay, could you guys both just kind of share your story, your testimony, just life, following Jesus and how all that comes together? Just kind of take us through and help us get to know you guys.
Okay, I was born and raised in Decatur. I grew up Catholic. I went to St. Joe from kindergarten through 8th grade. Then I went to Adams Central for my freshman and sophomore year. And then I was at Belmont for my senior year. Me and Matt actually dated senior year of high school. And then we ended up going our separate ways. I moved up to Fort Wayne, and I met my girl's dad. And I was with him for quite a while. Then just things didn't work out, so I moved back to Decatur, and me and Matt started talking again, and it's just been together ever since.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Today's our anniversary, actually.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Good.
So, you want to tell a little bit about you?
I was born and raised in Bluffton. Been in the military 9 years. Took a 5-year break, got back in. I'm the old guy now. A little different on my body now. I work here in Bluffton at ADM. I've been in and out of management and supervision for the last 8 years. I have 4 kids.
Yeah, we have 4 kids all together.
Doing this. Love the outdoors. We love the outdoors.
Yeah.
I'm more of a hunter. She'll tag along sometimes.
Are you the gatherer and he's the hunter?
No, I don't even gather.
Recording.
I'm recording everything
Record
else, like the
bird
birds
noises
and the butterflies.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to be serious, and she's stepping on every
No,
stick
I
in
can
the
shoot
woods.
things. I go hunt and shoot.
Great.
Yeah. Let's see. Kind of our path. We both kind of grew up on the rough side. I grew up in a Catholic home with a Catholic family. My mom was like the second youngest of like 13 kids. So we have a big family. Like I said before, I have 2 daughters from a previous relationship, and then Matt has a son from a previous relationship, and then we have our son Hunter, who we have together. I just feel like God's really taken us through a lot. When we first got together and right after we got married, a friend of mine approached me and said, "Hey, do you remember freshman year when we were at that basketball tournament and we were talking to those boys between games?" I was like, "Yeah, I kind of always wonder what happened to that boy." And she's like, "Well, you married him. Like, that's the guy you married from the basketball games." So it's just kind of neat to see how God had us meet, way back in the day. And we ended up taking separate paths, taking the back roads through life. And we would see each other throughout the years, just run into each other randomly or whatever it may be. So to have that come back, I think that's I love that part of our story so much.
And we've talked about it too. We've both, remember we both prayed for spouses in the relationship that we wanted. And we have talked about it, and we both prayed through the same things, and we founded each other. And it's been in our walk with God and growing and our family and watching our kids, really how the church transformed our family, our marriage. And then, really walking with Christ. Yeah. It's ups and downs. Yeah. But
we've had each other's back through a lot, so, that's awesome. I'm glad that I have you.
And we have a deep love for each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And good friendship.
Mm-hmm. Best friends.
So how have you seen just your experiences, in your life and your guys' story, kind of going down the path that you probably wouldn't recommend others to go down, but then coming down to this point now in your life where you guys have had your lives changed by God. How has that helped you in terms of just ministering to people who may have that same kind of story?
It makes it easy to understand where they're coming from in life and to talk to them and tell them, hey, I've been down there and God got me out of that. Like, he got me out of the dark tunnels and brought me into the light. And just telling them, you just got to pray to God and ask him to grab your hand, and he will lead you, no matter how dark how dark of the situation you're in. I just think it makes it so much easier to relate to people who have any kind of issues, because I've been there, I understand. And that's what I love most about the journey, taking the back roads, is I feel like I can relate to people really well because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I saw, I was just reading something before we come, a couple of days ago, about falling forward. And we've definitely followed a lot in life when we're younger. But it's also allowed herself to help people. And then I've noticed, I did jail ministry for a little bit, and going in, I actually related to a lot of those people, and they understood, and they're like, wow, we knew you used to run with this crowd, and we've seen what it can do for you. And I had a lot of one-on-ones with people who requested, because they felt comfortable with me. And just to relate, because what they say, the old saying, that the healthy don't need a doctor. And people, you just go, it's a good, I think Jesus, God allows us to go through things sometimes. I'm not saying he wants us to live our lives the way we did earlier, but it also allowed us to help people and to show what bringing God into your life can do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you guys have heard a little bit of my story too, and it's very similar as far as, just that kind of overall structure of our stories, right? Kind of going down that path, and then having God dramatically change our lives. And, it's always an interesting thing when people see you and they're like, oh, wait, you're doing what? Or you're involved with what? And, that's always a fun thing for me to experience. So, first question for you guys is a softball one. Where does your family attend church right now?
Right now, we currently are Nazarene, just right down the street here. So.
Okay. And how long have you guys been there?
5 or 6 years, something like that.
Cool. So, could you talk a little bit about, Amber, your educational background and your experience of working with children? Talk about
that. Even way back in high school, I took early childhood education courses and took babysitting courses and different things like that. I've been babysitting since I was 12. I have lots of experience with special needs children as well, from broad range, from just sensory issues to, Down syndrome or anything like that, ADHD, all those things. So I've had quite a few experiences with that. I worked at St. Mark's in Decatur for a few years. I started off in their daycare department in the newborns and worked my way up to the older kids. And eventually they approached me and asked if I would be interested in teaching. They really liked, how I was in the daycare, and I was like, sure, I'd love to give that a go. And I taught for a couple of years there, and then we ended up moving. So then when we moved to Bluffton, I just started working at Jericho 2.5 years ago before they just shut down. And then, I've got 4 kids of my own, so.
So preschool teacher at Jericho.
Yes,
as well as St. Mark's.
Yep. I've worked in the daycare facilities and stuff like that.
So from that, you've been doing some education. So what is that?
Indiana Wesleyan University. Right now, I'm going for my early childhood education, but I took a break for the summer and trying to see what I'm going to do next, because it's not what I thought I was doing.
Yeah, could you talk about that? Because for those of you watching, this was not when you were thinking about 2020.
No.
This wasn't
even
in
on
the
plan.
plan.
Not at all. Not even close.
Because it was thrown in our lap. It wasn't even
it
expected.
was.
Yeah.
I served on the Jericho board, and Denny and Rusty also served on the Jericho board. And Denny came up to me and was like, "Hey, we know Jericho's might be closing, we think you'd be great, and would you be interested in being the children's minister at FCC? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then Dana, she was like, I think you'd be really great. You should give it a try. And I was like, all right, if Dana sees that in me, then it may give me some confidence. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So then it was a Saturday. I'm in the shower, and I just feel God push me out of the shower, and I go call Brandon. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry it's a Saturday. I'm sure it's your day off. I was like, but, I'm interested in this. Denny approached me, and it's just been ever since. It wasn't even in my radar at all.
Yeah. Can you talk about, share just like what it's been like, what God has been doing in you guys as you've been walking through this very strenuous process. For those of you who don't know, our hiring process is a gauntlet. So you guys have been in that. Yeah. So you share just a little bit of what God's been doing in you over the course of the last couple months.
Lots of praying. I've prayed a lot through this. It's really made me dig deep into myself and to really, listen to God. I really had to be silent during this time to make sure that this is what I should be doing. Am I a right fit for this place? Are they a right fit for our family? We've had so many discussions on this between the two of us and even with the kids, because our kids are also a big part of this. I've felt like I've even come closer to God. I feel like I've heard him more now than I've ever heard him in my life. I have what I call God signals, like a cardinal, if I'm praying, or a hummingbird or a butterfly. And I have seen so many cardinals. We actually have one, living at our house, and we've never had one before. So I've just taken that as a sign of I'm praying the right way to God, and he is really answering me. And so.
And I happened just the other day to read a thing I sent and circled to her because she was worried about, God's calling me to this in her life and things, and why would God be calling me to this? And I happened to just pop up. I was reading, and it was talking about David and, how God loved him with the sin and what he did. And Paul, there's a lot of things, a lot of people in the Bible were broken at one point, and God calls them to serve. And she said, I really needed that, but it just happened to pop up.
I really needed that
on my phone. And
too often times we look at people in the Bible and we put them on a pedestal as if they, are the ideal people who have it all figured out. And the reality is that's just not true. Every person in the Bible except for Jesus, struggled with sin and struggled with faithfulness and always striving to please him. So, Matt, this question's for you. How have you seen Amber grow in the last 2 years, personally and professionally? How have you seen your wife grow?
I've watched her, she's always loved children, but I've watched her passion for Jericho, from the beginning to where she moved up from basically the bottom up to being on the board. And then, I've been home at night with her, the tears, the happy ones, the sad ones, the love that she has for those children, especially the foster children. She loved them all. Yeah. But some of the sad stories, and, she carried that burden on her. I've watched a lot of things, not getting too personal, but a lot of her things from maybe when she was younger, her childhood, and God heal her anger. From her childhood, and I've watched God heal her over time, and I've seen a huge transformation in her. And, and I've prayed a lot, and I know a lot of people have. And she's just really grown as a woman. And she's always been a really good mom. She's a hands down awesome mom. Fun mom. Kids love her. Neighborhood kids love her. We've always been the neighborhood hangout at our house. Nice. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Buying groceries but
that gets expensive. Feeding
I just see her passion in the last couple of years. And, from when she started, when we were first together 10 years ago to now, and how God has guided in her life. And I don't think she really even knew where she was going. No. And I've just watched her grow into a woman and she started going to school, and she never thought she would go to school. She was one of those people in high school that sees get your diploma, get out of school, and to be doing excelling. I remember she got a paper from one of the professors that she cried about it, and I said, I told you, but she wrote a paper and it says best one he's ever seen. And, you know, it's neat to see her feel confident in herself. She's a stay-at-home mom for years. So, you know, you're a stay-at-home mom, wearing pajamas all the time, stuff all over you, you know.
Half the stay-at-home moms watching are gonna attack you.
The stay-at-home moms sacrifice a lot. They do sacrifice a lot, and they put their needs aside for a lot of years, and she's really blossomed, and I'm proud of her, and I'm happy that God could be calling her to this.
Yeah, that's some great training, you know, to get ready for, you know, potentially something like this, being a stay-at-home mom and working through all those challenges. And, So, Amber, what are your thoughts, and you know, like what activities, you know, if you were to get an offer and start here, what kind of activities would you want to do for the rest of the summer for kids and families? You know, just paint us a picture for, you know, what would that look like under your leadership?
Let's see. I've seen a few things where they have some actually like online vacation Bible schools. I don't know if it'd be too late to do something like that, or do like a Facebook page maybe for the children's ministry, and maybe do some things through that, even if it's just live videos once in a while, you know, to connect with the kids.
We've got those capabilities.
Yeah, right? And I don't know when you guys would be opening up fully for everything again.
We don't fully know either.
Yeah, so I guess we would just probably roll with it, but I just feel like a lot of online things right now would have to be like the top priority for sure.
And I think you had spoke too about having input from people too.
Yes, lots of input for people, seeing.
Because she wants to hear what the church wants too.
Yeah. So. And then taking those ideas and then running with it.
Cool. So what are your thoughts overall? You know, let's take ourselves out of, you know, COVID era stuff, and everyone said amen. What are your thoughts on VBS, just as a program, you know, during the summer? Thoughts on VBS?
I love VBS. I think they're so fun. I helped volunteer at Nazarene Church's VBSs and helped, you know, take the kids along to each rooms or whatever they needed to do. But yeah, I am so all for VBSs. Okay. You know, programs throughout the entire year, I think, is a great idea. Yeah, if everybody would want to do a VBS, I am down to do a VBS for sure. Definitely.
We brought our VBS back last year, you know, for the first time in quite a while, and it was great. And this year, obviously, that's been there's been a wrench thrown into it, and yeah, so we're obviously on board with that. But you know, So, did you have something?
No, I think the VBS, like too, we saw too, and you were talking about this, how it reaches the community, and may bring in the children, but also we've seen it at the Nazarene where it's bring in adults too.
Yes.
And people start coming to church that normally don't come. So I think it's a great outreach for the community.
For sure. Yeah, it definitely can be. Amber, what are you most excited about if you would receive this position as children's pastor? What are you most excited about?
I would think I would probably be most excited about getting to be back with kids again. You know, Jericho shut down, so I haven't been teaching since March or something like that, since like March. So that would be super exciting, getting back in and being around the kids and things like that. I'm excited to start planning programs. Last time we had those meetings, you know, they were all about the program, so I love that stuff. I get excited over programs.
And when you say programs, you want to like just kind of define what you mean by that?
Like Christmas programs, or you know, Stations of the Cross program at Easter, or you know, a Father's Day program, or you know, even if the kids come up on stage and sing a song or something during church with everybody, and then we go back and we do our classes. Just programs for different things. Father's Day, Mother's Day. There's just so many things you can do with that, really. I mean,
getting the kids involved with
getting the kids really involved, and you know, trying to get them involved with everyone, from the young ones all the way up to the teenagers to the adults. Just, I think it's great to have everybody come in, and the kids love being up on stage, let's be honest. They love doing the motions and all that stuff, so.
Yep, my kids do love that.
Yes.
Matt, this one's for you. How do you feel about the possibility of Amber and your family being in vocational vocational ministry. Just talk us through, like, how does that kind of thoughts and feelings come to mind when you think about that?
Well, I think the first thought from my mind was it's a huge commitment because, you know, not only she's in it, our family's committing to it, as her, myself, our kids. And I guess when I was talking to my wife about it, to me, is if God's calling her to do it, then I should listen, you know. It's not about my life or the kids. It's what God wants. And if God's calling her to this, I'm 100% backing her in the church. And, you know, I think it's neat. And I have a passion for teenage kids because, you know, I went out to Brick House Ministry once out there and had dinner with those kids. And, you know, this could blossom in their whole family kind of moving into this. And I won't be working in church, but, you know, I can help. I volunteer a lot over there. But no, I 100% support it. And, you know, it's funny how God moves in your life. And it's neat that God could be calling her to this.
For sure. Amber, how would you describe your leadership style?
I'm not afraid to take charge. I'm not afraid to step it up, and it's honesty. I also love to work with people. I think that's fun, but I'm also fine working alone and, you know, getting my stuff done. I feel like I take the time to listen to people and try to understand where they're coming from. I don't know.
I could say, I mean, I'm on the outside looking in.
Yeah,
Sure,
She doesn't like to talk about herself at all.
Not at all.
And like I've seen to where she relates to everybody. And like what she's taught me in my marriage and over the years is she's like the least judgmental person I ever met in my life. I don't care if you're walking in with holes all over your clothes and you look like you showered in 2 weeks. She's going to treat you no different than the President of the United States. And I think she's got a real personal, hands-on style with people, and she really relates with people. And I think, you know, everywhere we go, even in Bluff, I grew up in this town my whole life, and I think sometimes she knows more people than I do.
So you like people?
Yeah, I like people.
You're not opposed to them?
No, I'm a people person, definitely. I'm not afraid to talk. You know, I'm very open. I believe in the open door policy. You know, if you got something you need to talk to me about, you know, that's fine. Let's talk. I'm an open book. I don't know what else.
Let me ask you this question. It's totally random, but if this room was full in socially distanced way, would you be more nervous or less nervous right now?
I don't even think that would make a big difference, honestly.
So speaking in front of people is not a big deal?
No, not really. Huh?
Okay. Like if we were like, hey, we need to have you come up here and tell us like what is happening in the children's ministry, and you'd be
I
not,
can do that.
not shaking
I mean,
your
at
boots.
Jericho, I had to get up all the time in front of parents when I did programs or anything like that, so it's absolutely no different.
I knew the answer. I just wanted to ask. Okay, so how would you answer the question? And maybe this is from a kid. Let's just put you in that situation. So a kid asks you this question. Maybe they're third grade. They ask you, "Is God real?" How would you answer them?
Oh, actually, I just had this conversation with a kid not too long ago. What I said was, you know, close your eyes for a minute and let's just close your eyes and let's think and listen to things. You know, we were outside and they heard the birds and all this, and I was like, where do you think all these come from? You know, think about it. The birds. How do they find their food? They don't worry, right? They just know God's going to provide. You know, look at, you know, and you try to look back on their path to see, you know, where are some things that you can find where God's worked in your life that you might think it could have been God. Just explain them how He has literally created everything, and He's created us to be individuals. I don't know, it's a good question. How else would I do that? I don't know, I started praying with this child the other day when we were having this issue, and we got to talk about the 10 Commandments and all these different things, and just praying with them made a huge difference. You know, because as an adult, praying with a kid and teaching them how that is, you know, it really made them feel a little bit closer to God. I don't know, I think just trying to get them to relate to, we can't see Him, but He's there. You can't see the air, but you trust to breathe every that's kind of like what he is. He's like the air, he's not there, but you know he's always going to be there. You can feel him. Like, you know, if you really talk to God, you can feel him. You can hear him. I think maybe just teaching them how to pray more, maybe to calm themselves, to pray and to really listen, to really feel him. And then bring parents in. Ask parents, hey, you know, your child approached me about this, you know, how should we go about this? You know, do you want me to talk to them? Would you like to talk to them? Should we all talk to them together?
Sure.
But I think having the parents involved in that as well is super important.
So you would kind of, what I'm hearing you say is that you would want to not just emphasize like, hey, like look around, think about where did all this come from, but also focusing on their relationship with God and making sure that that is developed. Because I think, you know, sometimes it's easy for kids to think of God as an idea, and even for us as adults, especially probably for us as adults, to think of God as an idea, as some far off being who may or may not be there, rather than, wow, I have a relationship with God, and a relationship doesn't need to be argued. Yeah. It's there.
It's there.
And, okay, good. So how would you, another scenario, a kid who's a regular at the church, this is a normal situation, we're having children's ministry, stuff happening, and a kid brings a friend, and this is their first time at the church. How would you make sure that that friend who's visiting felt welcomed and included?
Well, first of all, I'd definitely give them a hug. I'm a hugger, so I'd hug the kid and welcome them.
Yeah, because COVID's not an issue right now.
Right, yeah, okay. No, not at all.
I'm saying in this scenario,
If it was COVID, it'd be an air hug, you know, whatever. But yeah, I would definitely welcome them, you know, and then maybe I would have their friend maybe introduce them and give us a little information about the friend that they brought. Maybe have everyone go around the room, introduce themselves. And I know sometimes kids can be shy when they first come. So, you know, just kind of encourage them, whether it's just give them a little pat, like on the back or on the shoulder, and say, hey, you know, would you like to come do this? It's going to be so much fun. You're going to love it, I promise. Just little encouragements, things like that really get kids want to be involved more and excited. So I guess just bringing that energy, you know, the excitement, that's, you know, because kids will feed off your energy. They can feel it. When you walk in that room, if you're not all excited and going, they can feel that. So having that good energy so the kid does feel very comfortable. I would try not to single them out a lot and like, hey, I'll point on you to answer a question. You know, 'cause I know, you know, people don't like that, so.
So you would give them a little bit, maybe extra attention, you know, to make sure that they feel included.
Oh yeah, definitely. Seen. Yeah, like you know, let them introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about them, you know, different things. And I would like to also, like when if we're doing like a group thing, have them group up with other kids as well, with their friends, so they don't feel, you know, like their friend and a couple other people in a group, and you know, kind of let them get to know each other a little bit. Okay,
good. Next question. What kind of resources do you or would you base your philosophies and teaching on? That's very open.
Yeah.
Scripture would be your first one.
I know, I'm trying to, let's see.
That's a good idea. That's a good one.
Scripture is first.
Scripture, yeah. I don't know, it's a good one. Repeat that question again.
Sure.
Sorry.
What resources, and you know, you could think of curriculum, you know, how-to guides for children's ministry, what have you. Do you or would you base your philosophies of children's ministry and teachings within that ministry on? What kind of things would you use to, you know, pull from?
Okay, I would definitely, like Matt mentioned, some scripture for sure. Making sure that I found the right curriculum for the kids that would talk, you know, and get them a relationship with God. Not just talking about, but I want them to build a relationship with Him. So I feel like any way I could build relationships, whether that's through a journal, memorizing Bible verses, taking home packets to work at home, and then come back and maybe we do like a prize to see who worked on memorizing their verses. Let's see. Outreach programs I think would be great. There's tons of seminars out there that I would love to go to for me to grow and to learn more. And then they also have ones for teachers out there as well that I would love to work with the Sundays teachers, get them to also grow. Because, you know, I may have the curriculum and all this, but I've got to make sure everybody else on the team can teach the kids and all that stuff. So curriculum would be good. Let's see, scripture.
And you were talking about resources too, pulling from people in the church. Like there's teachers in the church who've done it for a long time, and you could pull their experience. And you talked about that when we left last night.
Yeah, when we left last night, I was talking about how I would love to talk to all the teachers and get their, input in it. And some of them have been here for a long time, so they would know things better than I would.
Sure.
So getting with them and being like, hey, how's this going? How's it working? Let's see. I have other people I can definitely call. I have a lot of prayer warriors out there that I can lean back on instantly and be like, hey, I have got a problem here. Can you help me just try to figure this out? And so just reaching out to other people I think would be great. And parents, that's huge. I feel like parents could be a big input as well.
Yeah, and I think everyone understands, like, for you, this would be your first ministry in a church.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that you have to learn, right?
Yeah.
And to pick up, and that may be one of those harder questions to really deal with or navigate. What would you say the over or under as far as the amount of questions you've asked or you've been asked by us? 500? Over, under?
That's way over. We're way over 500.
Way over 500, okay.
I was joking at work today, and I said, when 8 years ago, I was like 3/4 of the way through the state trooper hiring process.
Okay.
And at a point in life, I had signed to leave, and you had to go anywhere in the state. And I took a job where I'm at now instead of doing that. And I was like, man, this is more of an extended hiring process than the state trooper was. I was like, holy smokes. So if that tells you, people listening, the extent of it.
And then when you're like, me, I don't really know much about ministry, like church ministry. Like I've helped to volunteer and I've served on the church board, but I've never actually been fully involved in it. So this is like really all new for me.
Yep. So, big question.
Yeah.
Not many words, but it's a big question. Okay. How do you get to heaven?
That's an easy one. Jesus, the only way. That's, you can't, through his sacrifice and his blood, and that's it.
Amen, I agree.
Yeah.
Jesus is the only way.
Yeah.
There's a song.
Yeah, there's a song.
So so a kid says, hey, I want to follow Jesus. Yeah. How do you walk through that process with him of responding to it, right? Because Jesus has given us that gift that you just alluded to. He paid it all, right? Yeah. All of it has been paid. So it's a gift. Christmas time, you get the gift, you got to open it. So what does that look like, that process of opening it? How would you walk a kid through them responding?
Yeah, let's see. Are you saying like if they say they want to have a close relationship with...
Yeah, they're like, hey, I love Jesus and I want to surrender to him and become a follower of Jesus.
Yeah, I would definitely want to talk to them about baptism and see if that's something they're ready for. I definitely want to see where they were at, like in their relationship with Jesus, whether that was me taking some one-on-one time with the student or whoever it may be, and just trying to dissect and figure out where they're at. Then what do I need to do to then help them get further into that? Whether it's, hey, let's do a Bible study together, or here's a journal. Do your own Bible study and write things down, and let's come back and we'll group together and we'll work on that a little bit.
I think you said something too. We were talking about this, where the understanding of what it is of Jesus and how you should live and strive to live, but keep it at a kid's level. You were talking about that and want to help them grow.
A lot of these are repeat questions.
Yes.
So
we're going
same stuff. So go ahead.
We're feeding back from some of the things, and we have go home and reflect back on some of these questions and talk about it a lot. So, and I'm filling in for her some of the stuff because she's got a lot coming at her.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I totally understand.
But go ahead. Sorry.
I don't even remember where I was.
Damn husband.
I don't even remember where I was.
Well, one of the things you said before, in the same kind of question and answer is including the parents on that.
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. I would definitely. That's a big time. Parents definitely need to be involved with that. So, coming together with them as a family, even if they're siblings, if they have them, sure, why not? Let's have them involved in the conversation. This is a great family moment. It's huge.
Yeah.
So I feel like the whole family should be involved in that for sure.
Cool. So, what do you like most about working with kids, teaching? What do you like the most about that?
That's like a hard question. I don't know what
I mean, you can start just naming like 17 things. That's totally fine too.
I love the kids. They're just always so fun. They're hardly ever in a bad mood. And if they are, you can snap it out of them, and no time. Just let's put on a fun song and let's go do some movements. And they're real, they're raw, and they thirst for Jesus. They really do. Working at Jericho, I've had parents come up to me and say, "I am shocked you taught my child that. I had no idea they could learn those things." It's like, isn't it amazing what you can do if you give the child a chance and some time?
Yeah.
Like watching those moments are my favorite. Watching a kid at the beginning of the year. I love keeping paper progress throughout the year so you can see, how they've changed, how they started writing their name or drawing, and watching that progress and watching their walk with Jesus, even at a young age or up to middle school. We have older kids and we watch their walk with God, and it's beautiful to watch it. And I think that is what I love the most about it.
What I've noticed on the outside looking in, like, we'll be going through Bluffton, and there'd be kids from Jericho. Miss Amber, Miss Amber. And she'll always point out their personalities and the good in them. Like, I'm making a name up. Trevor, he's, the quirky one, always laughing and joking, and she's really shy but really opens up. She really gets to know the kids. And every kid we see, she knows their personalities and knows them personally, and I've noticed that, which shows me she's taken a commitment in those kids' lives. And because we know as people, we kind of nod your heads and forget names and
Sure.
But
Wait, what's your name again?
I can't remember. What church are we at?
So everyone knows, Amber, you were the preschool teacher for Piper, my Piper, and Mike and Holly's Penelope. And they were in the same room. And they learned things.
They did.
And they didn't just like run on the ceilings.
No.
So that's
really
impressive.
And I have like 13 little kids in there. Yeah, it's a lot to.
Yeah. So, what would be your goals? Obviously, this would take time to develop fully, but just as you think about it now, what would be your goals in building and growing a ministry, a family ministry? Not just children's ministry, but also family ministry. What would be some goals there?
I would love to have the kids get involved with all the groups, at some point. I'm not saying let's do this every Sunday, but I would love for the kids to, work with the teens, work with the elders, work with everybody a little bit. I feel that is so important to have that community with the kids. Like, we all need to surround them and love on them and be there for them. How I would go about doing that, I cannot give you an answer. I'm not really 100% sure how I would even do that.
Were you saying you want to see the kids have more interactions?
Yes.
Than just, those who are specifically involved in the children's ministry?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Whether it's having the teens come in, one Sunday and we do a big group activity together or something, I just feel like having that connection and letting the kids get to know and see the other people in the church. Because sometimes those kids are stuck in their rooms and they don't really see anybody else. And a lot of people leave before church, and so they really don't get to see a lot of people. So I feel like just letting them know who's here at the church, who is here for them, people they can recognize outside of the church, like, oh, they go to church, we should go, let's go talk to them, or go say hi. That is so big for the kids and the church.
Well, and the reality is kids need other people who are godly in their lives other than their parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Who care about them and know them. And, if you're watching this and you're not involved in our children's ministry, now's a good time to change that, because kids need more relationships, more to be surrounded by. I mean, they look at teenagers, right? Like kids look at teenagers like rock stars.
Exactly.
Like, wow, look at them.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
amazing.
Exactly.
And they don't know anything about them, but they're like, wow.
Yeah.
All that Axe body spray on that middle schooler, that's cool, you know?
When it's crazy, like you don't even think like as a person that you could impact that child or that teenager, but
You can.
you probably can reflect back on your own lives and see somebody in your life came along that really cared. Maybe because as kids we don't listen to our parents. Most of us don't, especially when we become teenagers.
Yeah.
They don't know anything, and what are they talking about? They were just born yesterday, but you seem to listen to other people. So I think, as you said, it's important with the church family.
Yeah.
Because you may, that teenage boy that may be having issues might listen to you or somebody outside the family, like, okay, maybe my parents might be right, and I'm looking at it wrong.
Yeah, for sure. Let me go with this one, and I'll end with the bigger question. Just as a preview of coming attractions, Amber, what was the last book you read?
A college book.
Okay.
Or
Do you remember which one?
Oh, what was it called?
Or what class it was for?
It was for children's. It was right before my physics class. I can't remember what it was.
Okay. It was a physics class?
But it was
or
right
for children's?
No, it was before my physics class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like,
class
I couldn't
I
figure
did.
out why she needed physics for.
No, it was right
Early.
before my physics. I don't know why I need that class either.
Stuff that goes up comes down.
Yeah, there.
It was
If
more
you're on
intense
the
than
earth.
that.
Yeah.
Grounded education.
It was really intense.
All right. Last question, unless for those of you watching, if you would like to submit a question, you can do so in the chat. I am monitoring these both on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you haven't heard a question that you would like to ask, we've got a little bit of time. So go ahead and throw it in there, and I'll try and get to it. But in the meantime, while they are thinking about other questions to ask, and maybe we'll get some, maybe we won't. Could you explain, and I'd love for both of you to weigh in on this, okay? Why are you the best fit for this position?
It's a typical interview question.
Right.
Don't have many of those, do we?
I've done a lot
This
of
is
interviewing.
the only
That's your
typical.
typical.
Let's see. One, I think that sets it aside is I really feel God calling me to this. Like, that's the biggest thing. Because like I said, this was not on my radar whatsoever. So just having God, feeling Him calling me to this has been a big part of it. I love kids. I mean, I absolutely love and adore kids. They are so fun. I would give them so much love. And I am all about making it fun and bringing new ideas and new things. I'm the think outside the box person. I never think inside the box. So, I would love to bring some new ideas, fun things, get creative with it. I don't know. Bringing the kids to God for sure would be a top priority. Building that relationship with them. Because I've had to build a relationship in my life with God, taking the back roads. I can definitely help them start building that relationship and say, hey, don't do this because let me tell you, it's not the way you want to do it. And try to get them to get started off on the right foot to help them continue on. I don't know, do you have anything else you want to chime in on that?
Well, like I said before, she's not a talk about herself kind of person, so it's hard for her. And I know this because I've been with her this long. But what I've seen is her passion for children, the love she has. Like, I think we've spoke this before and other talking to people, and I think I said it here, like the tears at night, the love, you went and volunteered at that one place where you,
Which one?
the babysitting.
Oh, the Hope Clinic?
Yeah, you went and did stuff on your own time.
Yep.
She didn't have to do that, and she has a passion for kids, like a love for them, and I've seen it in our own children, the way she has grown as a mom, and I think, and then from what she came from, not getting too personal in her life, and watching God heal her slowly, and I think that's prepared her for the love and passion and the caring that she has for her kids.
Cool. That's good. Thanks for sharing that. I have one last question, and so far I've not seen anybody throw in any additional ones, so this may be your last one.
Okay.
For now. I mean, then we got a dinner, and then there's
Right,
gonna be more.
yeah, then there's
So,
gonna be more questions.
but at least you'll get food. We'll feed
Right.
you. Give you some more energy. What is maybe one thing that you want to make sure that people know about you? Like if they could just walk away from this video knowing one thing about Amber Shoemaker, what would you want them to know?
I'm very passionate about God and children. Those would be my two top things right there. Because when I did start to work and decide maybe I should be a preschool teacher, working in a Christian school was super important for me. And, you know, Hunter went to Jericho, and that's how we got to know Jericho, as he started preschool. And I told Matt he will go to a Christian preschool. I'm going to find one. Because those early ages are the most important times to really, I mean, they are thirsty for Jesus at those ages. So once Hunter started going there, and then, you know, there was a job opening, and I approached Dana in my pajamas, and I was like, so
She's real.
It was just who I am, you know. So I approached her, and I was like, hey, so, you know, I was a preschool teacher once, which, you know, is it okay if I apply for the job? And she's like, yeah, go for it, do it. And that's just how that started.
Okay.
So.
I mean, you haven't worn your PJs to any of the interviews.
Oh,
She probably wants to.
I do, yeah. Yeah, but just, you know, I have a passion for God, and I have a passion for kids.
Okay.
So,
Sounds good. Anything else to add?
I think people see who she is.
I'm real. Like, what you see is what you get, you know. I'm, like yesterday, who's Joe Dirt? I forgot he did that.
Well, you know how, like, you always hear that husband's always got to guess what their wife is thinking. That's not with her.
No guessing.
No guessing.
I
She'll lay it out.
tell you.
She lays it out and
I
tells
don't
me.
have time to beat around the bush.
And I still don't get it sometimes. But
Well, she can't help you with that.
no. I'm not saying all wives are like that. I'm just saying the
Sure.
stereotype.
Right.
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah, I don't.
She's real.
Yeah. I try to be as real and honest as possible.
Yeah, she doesn't hold back. She lets me know. Good and bad.
That's good. That's good. All right, I don't see any more questions, so this is going to be the end of our live Q&A with Amber and Matt. So, guys, thank you for letting us grill you again, and this time over the internet for everyone to see. And, you know, who knows, this may go viral, and then you guys may be like phenomenons or something like that.
That'd be awesome.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon. Peace out.